Asif, and I lead Salesforce practice at Royal Cyber. So today we are here to conduct our another episode of Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce podcast series. Um, as part of today's session, we are going to talk more on the phased rollout model of Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce, where you can and more will focus on the SiteGenesis customers, where you can have a risk-free migration, um, having your or migrating your catalog pages on Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce, and still intacting your SiteGenesis checkout. Uh, you know, so today joining me, I have Iftikhar Khan, who is our certified Salesforce B2C Commerce Cloud architect, and I have Foha Khalid with me, who is our Salesforce B2C Composable Commerce lead. Um, all right, guys, thank you for joining and being the part of today's session. So, starting with both of you, I mean, I would like to know more on the technical and the business challenges, which you would see that if any customer who's on SiteGenesis and they want to plan for their migration on B2C Composable Commerce. But what are the technical and business challenges which they are facing in the existing SiteGenesis environment? Iftikhar, you can start here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Azir. So, as you know that the site Genesis is quite older now. So, if I say like it's more than 10 years now, it's out. So, since the technology is older, so you have many challenges regarding to this to incorporate the modern requirements and the competitions with other technologies, right? So, what I experienced, so the solutions developed on Site Genesis, in particular the third-party integrations. So, when the external systems implementation changed, so you have to update your plugin as well. So, we face that when the external systems are updated, so you have to update your cartridge as well, right? So sometimes you do not get the pre-built plugin from the Salesforce, so you have to update those plugins yourself. So this was the one of the main complaint we got from the customers, that their plugins stopped work, right? So when the external implementation is changed. And apart from this, Site Genesis, when it was built, so there was a lot of challenges regarding the performance as well. So that's the reason the SFRA was there in the market, right? So if you are on the Site Genesis, so you have a lot of challenges regarding to the performance, third-party integrations, plugins, and many more. So I believe this is the right time you migrate from Site Genesis to the newer composable solution.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Iftikhar. Foha, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll go with Iftikhar by the same thing. The point is that SiteGenesis has grown old now. There are a lot newer technologies when you experience the site experience as well. If you compare Composable, for example, or even SFRA with SiteGenesis, there's a very drastic and evident difference between the both. So definitely it's a good thing. It's a good experience to come onto newer technology. And I mean, it's a considerable approach for anybody who is in SiteGenesis right now. And again, obviously vendors are not updating SiteGenesis as frequently or as seriously as they are with newer technologies.
Sure. And I think a recent example, Iftikhar, which we came across for one of our existing customers, right? They when they updated their Braintree cartridge, payment cartridge, yeah. Right? They came across this issue that the cartridge was not compatible with the SiteGenesis, right? The updates which were made by Braintree, it was just for the SFRA, right? And then we had to do a lot of customization. After looking at the changes which were done in the SFRA cartridge, then we changed that code or customized that code to be a reverse compatible or a backward compatible with the SiteGenesis version, right? So it's a lot of overhead which involves if we still, or if customers still stays on SiteGenesis for even in this year or till next year, there'll be a lot of custom code which will be dumped on the existing code, right?
Yeah.
uh, okay. Okay, for now, this a phased rollout model which Salesforce has introduced as part of the B2C composable commerce. Please tell us what exactly this model is, how this model works.
So basically, what Salesforce proposed is that instead of moving for SiteGenesis customers, instead of moving in one go to, for example, a Safari, what they can do is they can test out a couple of pages of theirs. So they can develop a page on Composable and then have the rest of their storefront on SiteGenesis as it was before. And to bridge those both together, because these are essentially two different sites, to bridge it, they have an SLAS cartridge, which basically makes it seamless and transfers all of those cookies, those session variables to the next storefront and interchangeably. So they're both working as pretty much one storefront, but they are actually two.
Okay. Okay. All right. For now, I would like you to please explain us more on the session bridging, because when we are speaking with the existing and the new customers who are on the path of having this migration roadmap in the year 2024, they are more curious to know how this session bridging works, because there are different storefronts. One is React based storefront, and or any other composable commerce, B2C composable commerce storefront, and on the other side you are still having your SiteGenesis checkout. So how this session bridging works? What is the support which Salesforce provides out of the box?
Okay, so Salesforce basically gives a cartridge, which is SLAS cartridge, and this can be used for SiteGenesis the same way that it was used in Safari, as we discussed in our earlier discussions. Basically, what this does is that it creates a bridge between these two sites, so your composable site and then your SiteGenesis site, and you can share cookies and session variables that basically keep track of, your customer, what your customer added to their cart, all of their whatever data they have that it's maintaining to give the customer experience. All of that is shared seamless to create a seamless experience for that user. So that is how session bridging works, and it's something that is provided by Salesforce itself, this cartridge.
All right. Okay. So this actually, takes away the risk of, not having something which is customizable. There's a out of the box cartridge available, which actually takes care of this
Exactly.
Session bridging. All right. Excellent. Iftikhar, now, again, this is again a common question which comes from the customer. In terms of if they want to go for this composable, this phased rollout model, at the code level for the developers, and even for the merchants as well, they will have two separate code bases. One is for the React based storefront for the navigational pages, another one is for the SiteGenesis. So how that works, how that how easy or complex would be for the customers to manage this, and any other external dependencies which you think which customers may have to look for.
All right. So if you talk about just managing the repositories and the source code, I think it will remain same. So there will not be any difference. So what you can do is you can create a single repository where you can create a couple of folders, one for example, for the SiteGenesis Safari code, and other one for the front end storefront code, right? So this will remain the same, but actual challenges regarding to the managing the release processes and the deployment processes. So for example, if you have implemented the CI/CD pipeline, if you want to implement, so the CI/CD tool and the process that you will write will be different for two deployments, right? So for the SiteGenesis and the Safari deployment, you will be using the different tool, and for the composable, you might use a different tool. In that in that domain, you have to manage two different processes. You have to manage two different things, right? So this is something that you have to take care. And the other thing is like you need to learn two different tools, right? to manage and to learn. So this is something you can say will add some dependency on it, that you need two different process you need to set up. And for one other challenge that could be uh, the mapping of the versions. For example, you need to set up a mechanism where you can manage. So this particular, for example, the SiteGenesis version is compatible for this storefront version, right? So when you are updating the code, so you have to set up mapping between the versions as well. So I think this is something you need to take care of.
Sure, sure. Okay, all right. Now, one more question, and again, I mean, you both can share your thoughts. That is, if I ask both of you to summarize the benefits or the pros and cons of either a customer stays on SiteGenesis for maybe a year or a couple of years more, or they start at their B2C composable commerce migration journey with this phased rollout approach. So what are the pros and cons you guys see? We can start with Hugh, Iftikhar.
Okay. So SiteGenesis has, as we discussed, that SiteGenesis has problems, issues, right? A lot of issues. So ultimately, overcome to these issues, you need to migrate to the SFRA or you need to migrate to the composable, right? So you have to choose one of them. And the composable is not something fit for everyone. So if the customer has different systems which are API based, so I think composable is the best for them. Otherwise, they should go for the SFRA, right? So it is totally based on the customer's existing infrastructure. So what approach they should go with. SFRA is like ready-made cookie, quick to deploy, everything. So, but in the composable, other hand, is more flexible, and you can do a lot in the composable in terms of, for example, you can set up such module on a separate system. Similarly, the CMS on a separate system. So it also reduce the load on the Salesforce Commerce Cloud server itself, right? So when you are using different modules on a different system. So it's like pros and cons. And in terms of costing, I think the phased rollout approach is best for the customers who has their limited budget in terms of the time. So they should go with the phased rollout approach, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Shobha, you would like to add something on top of it?
Yeah. Sure. So Lala, basically migration is inevitable at this point for all SiteGenesis customers. I think that it's been 10 years since SiteGenesis came around. You definitely, if you are still on SiteGenesis, you need to start considering moving on to more later versions of anything, whether it's SFRA or composable. Again, to reiterate what Iftikhar said, SFRA is more suitable for maybe smaller businesses and people who want to kind of get started quickly. And composable is more complex. So for businesses that have, a very content-rich websites, they have a lot of locales, they have they have large teams working on it. Composable is really great for them as well. It's less risk, it's spread out cost, and definitely there are consequences when you are moving onto something else. So there are some. Maybe you might notice when you're moving to your cart page that it's not as fast as the rest of the site because you're moving to a different site. But again, the phased rollout, as suggested by the name, is more of moving step by step onto composable rather than just maintaining this hybrid model. So the risk compared to the advantages are quite low. And definitely it's something that is really a great option for SiteGenesis customers.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, this is really good insight, and I think one more point which I can add here is most of the time the shoppers which comes on the website on the storefront to shop, the most of the time which they spend is on the navigational pages, on the catalog pages, right, from PLP or PDP, right, homepage, and if you move or migrate your pages on composable, you are giving them the best of the experience, right? The shopping experience. They can quickly navigate through pages. They can have all those features available which are required for a shopper to have a excellent shopping experience. And that's where, because that if your shopping pages, if your catalog navigational pages are not performing well in terms of the performance, shoppers will right away go away from your storefront, and there are a lot of other options which are available, right? They will go to another, your competitor's site. So yeah, I mean, I think that is one of the major advantage which is there if you move your pages on
Yeah.
composable commerce.
Definitely, that's a great point as well. That definitely you want to improve that shopper experience and encourage people to come to the stage of adding to the cart.
Yeah. Okay, I think let's quickly, Foha, if you can just very quickly show us or give us the sense of how this session bridging and the SLS cartridge works between these two storefronts. That would really help.
I'm sharing my screen. Hope you can see it. So this is our site. You can see over here, we've got this is the home page, and we are right now on PWA Kit. We'll head over. This is the PLP. Again, we're still on PWA Kit. As soon as we add something to our cart and click on View Cart, we're taken to SiteGenesis. So right now, these are just this is the basic implementation. Obviously, you touch up on what the user experience and all the front end would be like. But essentially, for any customer that was browsing through that site, there might just be like a couple of, maybe a second or two that while they're being redirected, but the rest of it is pretty seamless. Like, I think it's not noticeable that you've moved on to a different site. And you can see over here, our product is added to the cart, and we can check out. So this is, again, the SiteGenesis checkout. Just fill this in.
And you can have this back and forth switching. I mean, you can, if you want to go from checkout pages to catalog navigational pages, you can always go back.
You can do that as well. And this would be customized according to, what pages you want to keep on SiteGenesis. So for example, if I say I want to keep the footer on SiteGenesis, I can also configure that. But if I want all of it to lead back to PWA Kit, I can do that as well. So right now we haven't added those customizations here because that's obviously, it would be subject to how the customer wants that. But you could add that. It's pretty much just redirecting, and the session is already being shared between these two sites.
Okay.
And here we're okay. So here, this is all of the checkout on SiteGenesis, and the browsing is on PWA Kit. So the more important part, or the more sensitive part, you can keep it over there. You don't want to mess around with your checkout. You can just keep it there, and the rest of your site would be working on PWA Kit.
Excellent. I think it looked pretty seamless, and it is much quicker. And once it is on the production, on the live side, it will be more quicker. All right. I think this is great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Iftikhar. Thank you for her being the part of this session today. And it was really very insightful. And hopefully we'll regroup again in next couple of weeks with another episode on another topic. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.